and I've kind of been, I love starting new businesses. I like the idea of new businesses. I love hearing about new businesses. In college, I knew that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to own my own business and run my own business, and how I was going to do it and what was I going to come up with. And, I had gone around with different business opportunities and different ideas, and they weren't that great, to be honest. I thought they were brilliant at the time, and they weren't that great. And my school has a program. It's called the BYO Biz program. And they're not saying bring your own beer either. But it's the BYO Biz. So you bring your own business, or you start your own business, and they help you. They provide you any information you need, contacts you need, insight you need into what do you do, how do you get there, where do you go to. So I had been working with them on different things. And, I did a study abroad program in Ireland. I lived in Ireland for 4 months, and when I came back, that was in my head. I just constantly trying to find a problem somewhere, not just in Maple, but in general in the world, where you could fix it. And how you could fix it would be an idea about a product or a business idea or something like that. So after a long time of thinking and debating and not coming up with anything, I said, well, stick to what you know. And I grew up in Maple, and I know a fair amount about Maple. And I said, well, what's difficult or doesn't work that good and needs to be implemented differently to try to be more efficient. And so after thinking about a long time, after thinking about that for a long time, I said, tapping. Tapping is long days, trudging through the snow, trying to take a normal drill and drill it and drill into the tree. But the biggest thing is that trying to maintain efficiency with it. So in tapping on a vacuum system, so you have all this section coming from the sugar house, and you put a spout or an adapter in a tree, and you need it to seal to get production out of those trees. So if you wobble a little bit, if you move your arm a little bit, if you go in at too much of an angle, you may actually hurt that tree as far as not having a good seal. Okay, so just for the purpose of an example, if you're drilling into a tree at this angle, you're going to have an oblong hole. There's going to be more surface area on that hole. It's not going to be completely round. It's going to be too much of an angle, will cause an oblong hole. So with that, you don't get a good seal. When you don't have a good seal, you don't get the production you want out of that tree. And the reason is that air can get into that hole and bacteria will grow. And when bacteria grows, it dries out your hole and doesn't stay moist, so you don't get the sap out of that tree. Also, if you wobble a little bit, if you go into the tree straight and on your way back out, you move just a fraction of an inch, or just a little bit of movement coming back out with a really sharp drill bit, just one of these, your hole won't be perfectly round again, and you won't get a good seal. Now it's the seal doesn't matter as much with buckets. It doesn't matter as much with gravity pipeline. It matters with vacuum, because if you have air getting into the system, that means that vacuum is getting out of the system. So it's not sucking the sap from the tree, it's wanting to suck air. Okay? And when that happens, it hurts the production of that one tree that you're at, but also the trees above it. Because it's not wanting to pull that sap above it, it's wanting to actually go out of the system. So when that happens, obviously you're not only losing production of that tree, but you're losing production of the surrounding trees. So having thought about that, I said, well, we need something to fix that. How do we fix it? And I jolted around with different ideas in my head. How are you going to do that? And, you need something that does it for you. what my first thought was. Something that you don't have to do the work to get rid of the human error. Because we all have error, and if they're a long day, you slip, you fall, whatever it may be. So I brought it to my parents' attention that this is my thought, and they liked it. We sat around and talked about it a little while. I called my dad's best friend, who is an engineer, and told him I wanted to talk to him, asked him about it, told him what I wanted to do, and he helped me bring my idea in my head and put it here on the table. I'm not an engineer, but I had the idea of what I wanted to do and an idea on how to implement it, but it was, well, how do you take that idea that's in your head? A steel. Boy, that was expensive. And boy, was it heavy. But it worked. It did what we wanted to do. And how it worked is that we made it with these points on the tip to hold you on the tree so you don't wobble. You can adjust these for an angle so you can get that same angle on the tree every single time. We also made it spring-loaded, so it pushes you out at the same angle you go on the tree to get rid of all those different areas that you can have to have a good seal on the tree. Because really, what we wanted to do is to have as close to perpendicular hole on the tree as we can. So we toyed around with how we were going to mount it, figured it out, did it, tried it out for 1 year as a prototype, and then said, this might work, other sugar makers might like this too. So it was originally designed kind of more or less to help us be more efficient and help our bottom dollar and help us be more profitable. And then when we saw what it would do, me going to school for business, I was a business major, I said, oh, this might work. So I showed some people in the industry that are innovators and have come up with different things. And anyway, to make a long story short, they thought it was a great idea. One of them had a friend that was a large manufacturing company in Morrisville. That's where it's made. And we went there, had it made, and I got a deal with a local sugaring company to sell it. CDL sells these now. They're my exclusive distributor, so I set up the whole business deal with them to be able to distribute these, so I can still work here and not have to have 6 jobs. So I still sell them some if I want to. I make them, I buy them, I sell them to them, and then they go and educate people and bring them out there. And this was basically our first year on the market, and we had a great year. And you know, a lot of toppers went out this year. A lot of toppers. And actually, if you were to do retail, it's not what I make, don't worry. But the cost of what these cost, and if you were to do the math on the cost of these and how many we sold about $250,000 worth of toppers this year. Now I didn't get that money, so don't think I'm rich, because I'm still not. But the reason I tell you that is that I was just like you guys here in Fairfield, doing the same exact thing. And actually, I think I went and interviewed somebody at the Messenger, and I was in that seat, just kind of going through school, going through life, until I made it to college, and I said, this is what I want to do. And now I took something as a dream and was able to make it into reality. I'm not rich, so don't think that $250,000 went to me, but it just shows that there's always something that can be improved, there's always something that can come out. Just when you think that everybody's figured it all out, they haven't.
I have a question about it. So like all the material that you buy to like make it, from your money that you got from your product of maple syrup, do you pay with that money for that?
For this?
Yeah.
No, this is a separate. I took a separate loan out through the bank, and the reason I did this is that as far as business, I feel that a business or a product should pay for itself, and if it can't, it's going to be hard to be successful. So the precision tapper should be able to pay for the precision tapper. So the tapper sold should be able to pay for the loan and pay for the materials and pay for everything. And that's what I did. I took out a loan, and it was a very heavy loan, and I didn't sleep that night, a lot of nights.
Sure.
And when you're 24 years old and you have a lot of money into something, and a lot of my own money into something, it makes you work that much harder. And so none of this business didn't pay for this. This is completely separate. However, this was used for this business, and it was profitable for this business, and the research was done here. So there was other benefits. Definitely being a part of this did help this, but financially speaking.
So like basically, if you sold one of them, then the money that you got back, you could probably buy the material for another one and keep going until you make a bunch of them and make a profit off from it.
Exactly. And now don't forget too that when you have a loan, that yes, you're paying maybe for another one, but you're also paying back what you just spent on it. So but in the short, that's basically how that works. Yeah. And then you have all your advertising expenses and lawyer fees, and it's not cheap to do it.
But you do make it back in money eventually, right?
But you can if you're smart about it, you think about it, and you go through it the right way. Yeah, you absolutely can. Yep. Any other questions?
Get a nice picture.